if you enjoy this, wait, I already said that. So then the next question is, what? Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So recently I made a community post on my YouTube channel asking for some questions, weight loss related or not, and I'm gonna be going through and answering some of those today. So if you enjoy this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and let's get started. I just have them ranked in order from most liked to least, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go through them that way. I'll kind of skim through and just pick some. But if you guys don't know, I'm Nikki. I've been on a weight loss and maintenance journey for about 3.5 years now, and I just share my journey online, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, and I just like to share different recipes that I eat, different tips that have helped me along the way, motivation in the gym and skating. I like to rollerblade as an activity, and yeah, those are just some things about me. So getting started with question number 1, we have, do you ever feel like going back to the way you used to eat without having to track or plan anything? Honestly, yes. There are some days when I'm tired and I just don't feel like doing anything, but that is like the extent of it. It never really gets to the point where I like actually consider stopping this lifestyle that I've created for myself, because honestly, I can't imagine going back to what I used to do. I never ever want to be in the pain that I was in before with my back pain, my knee pain, my just joint pain in general. I don't want to struggle with breathing like I used to, and acid reflux and heartburn all the time. I really don't want to deal with just those basic issues. And then there was so much more that came with it, with my mental health and just how I felt overall, my stomach issues and stuff like that throughout eating fast food 1 to 2 times a day and just not taking care of my body. So when I think back to those days, that's all it really takes for me to stay on track, because I just don't want to go back to feeling that way. But there are times when I feel like I don't want to track my day, and maybe I don't do Weight Watchers for a day or two, like I just don't track, but then I usually get right back to it because I know how much better it makes me feel. It's funny because actually Adam just showed me a picture of groceries that we got before we had started our journey. It was like a year before I decided to start Weight Watchers, and comparing it to the picture I just took the other day from a grocery haul, it's crazy to see like what we used to buy versus what we get now. And I still used to make some effort to buy like some vegetables and stuff. I actually used to buy apples. I didn't remember that looking at the picture, but the difference between everything else I bought is pretty crazy. And honestly, I really like the way we eat now and the foods that we eat, and I just don't really struggle too much with staying consistent with that. It's more so not wanting to eat out and get takeout food, but I've found ways to have balance with that and to like make meals at home that are similar. Okay, so the next question is kind of similar. It is, do you guys think you'll ever stop using Weight Watchers, or do you feel like it's still crucial to your maintenance journey? Then there's another question, but I'll answer this one first. So I personally just love the Weight Watcher point system. For me, that is what works. I do still like to look at calories, and now with the course that I'm in and learning more and more about nutrition, it has gotten me to look more into the macros that I eat. With the What I Eat in a Week videos, I compare calories to Weight Watchers and stuff like that. But I just really do like the point system. It just helps to simplify things for me. I think that I will continue to use it, especially just for my content. I like sharing it. I like coming up with new low point ideas. But I also want to make more of a focus on protein and stuff like that, although I'm able to incorporate that with Weight Watchers too. So I think that I'll continue to use it. I think Adam will too. He also agrees with me that it's just the easiest method that we've tried, the easiest tool we've used to stick with it. But I think the consistency with tracking has definitely fallen off a little bit. But I would definitely say we're tracking more than we're not still, and it just helps us to stay on track. So not anytime soon, but we'll see where it takes us. I think that it just helps us to really stay consistent now. Then the next part of that question is, are there any plans to add shipping options to your business? Because girl, I'm dying to try something. Thank you, I appreciate that. And honestly, at the moment, no, I have not planned to do any type of shipping. I'm currently booked through the year for my local orders, and I just need to figure out what I'm gonna be doing next year. I think I'm gonna stop doing cakes altogether just because it is so much work and stress, and it really just isn't very profitable. It's honestly not very profitable at all versus what I do with cookies. I could charge more for cakes, but I just don't want to have that type of stress on me. It's kind of hard to explain the difference between doing cookies and cake, but I just feel more comfortable with cookies. I'd rather just take cookie orders, so that is kind of where I'm leaning towards going next year with my business. So when that happens, maybe I'll lean more towards figuring out shipping, but as of right now, I don't have any plans for that. Okay, the next question is, what was your biggest challenge during your weight loss journey and how did you overcome it? Okay, this one is a little bit more personal to like what I'm doing with my future and stuff, but it did have to do with my weight loss journey, and my weight loss journey played a huge part in it. And making it more of like about my weight loss, I would just say my mental health change and being able to make my mental health a priority. But with that came quitting my job. And even before that, it came just taking fewer hours at my job. That was so hard for me because I've mentioned before, but I really am a people pleaser. I say yes to everything. Not anymore. I've gotten so much better with it, honestly. But I put myself in so many positions because of that, where people would kind of walk all over me. They knew I was a good worker and they would take advantage of that. And it got to the point where I was doing too much with my business at home and my full-time job, and I just could not take any time for myself. I'm not lying when I say I just did not have a second for myself. And I knew that I had to cut back on one of them. I knew that I could. I was to the point with my business where I was making enough that I could stop working at the place that I was working. It was more, I was just terrified to quit and I felt like I had to be there forever. And so working through that mentally and realizing I deserve to actually make myself a priority. I don't need to be working myself to death for no reason, because that's what I was doing. So I would say quitting my job was one of the hardest challenges I had throughout my weight loss journey, but losing weight is what gave me the confidence to be able to do it. So it helped me to overcome it, but it was so hard. I cried so much before, I cried so much after. Honestly, it was more of a relief after, because it was something like, you can ask Adam and Trevor. I used to say all the time, I'm never going to be able to quit this job. I'm never going to quit. I'm going to be there forever. And they would tell me like, you can do it. You need to, you deserve it. Like for your health, I needed to just get sleep. It wasn't even to the point where I needed to like focus on what I was eating, what I was doing physically, activity wise. It was that I just needed sleep. And so I finally was able to do it. And that was about like 3 months into my journey that I was able to cut back my hours. And then after that, I was able to fully quit. And that was so difficult, but it helped me tremendously. And honestly, it's changed my life. I've still been able to continue with my cookie business. I've been able to start up my YouTube channel and write a cookbook, which is like the most mind-blowing thing in my life. I can't even explain how crazy that is still. I look at it all the time and I just like am in awe by it because it's so unreal to me. I wouldn't have been able to do those things if I didn't just quit my job. And I have a whole video about that where I talk way more in detail. I can link it in the description. But I would say that the hardest thing throughout my weight loss journey was having to focus on making my mental health a priority and doing the things that really would help that, and that was quitting my job. Okay, the next question is, how many times a week do you go to the gym and for how long at a time do you work out? Is this how you started from the beginning, or how did you start incorporating exercise? Thank you, you're a great inspiration. Thank you, I appreciate it. So I waited 3 months to incorporate any exercise on my weight loss journey just because I wanted to make my nutrition a focus. So once I was 3 months in, I had lost like 30-ish pounds at that point. Then I knew that I could start to incorporate some exercise because I kind of had it down in the kitchen and I could focus on getting some movement in because I still wanted to do that as well. So that's when I started rollerblading, and I just did that kind of for fun, just around my neighborhood in parking lots. Then I got roller skates, and those just became 2 things that I did for fun to get moving. Then when winter came, I wasn't able to skate and I wanted to keep doing something. So I actually had a Planet Fitness membership for years. Like we paid for it and didn't go once. I think I maybe went once, and Adam went a few times, but we paid for years and didn't go, which makes me so sad to think about now. But it's in the past, and now I take full advantage of my Planet Fitness membership. I go usually 5 to 6 days a week. I go early in the morning, and it changes depending on what I'm doing. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are my leg days. So Monday and Friday, I do glutes and hamstrings. Wednesday, I do quads and calves. And that just means I'm doing exercises focused on those. They do work other body parts and things as I'm doing them, but those are my focus. Then on Tuesday, I'll do like chest and shoulders. And then Thursday, I do back, bis, and tris. If I go Sunday, it's a light upper body day with some abs. But I don't do any cardio at the gym unless it's winter time. I'll do some walking. For my leg days, I'm there from anywhere from an hour to 2 hours usually. For my upper body days, it could be 45 minutes to an hour usually. Usually those aren't much longer. But I also do a nice warm up. I try to stretch and do a cool down. And then, like I said, sometimes I'll walk. But that's what I currently do at the gym. That is more than what I was doing when I first started going to the gym. When I first started, there were definitely days I would take off. I would say I went like 4 to 5 days a week, and it just wasn't as long of workouts. But during that time, that's when I was getting up at like 2 or 3 in the morning to go to the gym because I wanted to go when no one else was there. So that just wasn't sustainable. I didn't stick with that anymore. So now I go usually at like 5:30 to 6 is the time that works best for me. It kind of changes based on winter or summer, but that's when I go to the gym. Okay, perfect timing for this question because Adam actually just got home from the gym. So this one's for you, Adam.
Okay.
Someone said, I would love to know how Adam stretches his points over his overnight 12-hour shift, which it's not an overnight shift. You work
5:30 in the morning to 5:30 p.m. So like covers breakfast, lunch, and a snack normally.
And how he tracks his points, meaning do you track midnight to midnight, which you just said. Thanks for info, fellow night shifter here. A whole video would be great. We could do a video on that, but
yeah.
Go ahead and say how you do.
Yeah, so in the morning, I normally make my food in the morning. I'll take like a sandwich for lunch is what I normally do, but I'll lay all my food out for the whole 12-hour shift and track it all there, and then I leave points for dinner for like my third meal of the day. So I try to bring like a breakfast, a lunch, and then a snack, and then I have a coffee and water at work. So I feel like that could definitely work for overnight shift too, if you plan like almost like a dinner and a breakfast and then save something for lunch during the day.
And I think just us finding a bunch of low point snacks that he can bring with him has been really helpful too, because you have a lot of like low point options.
Yeah, like Skinny Pop's a huge one, like the little bags of Skinny Pop, popcorners, veggie puffs, like stuff like that. Stuff that's like 3-4 points a bag has helped a lot just to bring like extra snacks.
Yeah. Yeah, and you track it all ahead.
Yep.
So then you're done.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, thanks for your help.
No problem.
Okay, next question. The next question is, I'm currently struggling with binging the week before my period. Just wondering if you have any tips for seeing rationally during that time and stopped yourself from stalling your progress. I refuse to use the term falling off the wagon. Thanks, love all your content. Thank you. So this is something, I also do have a video for this I can link where I just talk about how I handle my period on my weight loss journey, but I get cravings and I want everything bad during my time of the month always. And a lot of times I just find ways to let myself have it, whether it's in moderation or it's just like a lower point option that's really similar. I try to find replacements for the things that I'm craving that maybe will be a lower point, but I do try to kind of give into them. At least for a couple days, I have some balance with it because I know that I'm just gonna feel better and I don't wanna restrict myself and make myself more grumpy and stressed out and just unhappy. I really try to find like a happy medium in between where I can have some balance and get my cravings in. But again, a lot of times I just want to eat a lot. And so that's where good low point snacks come in. That's where snack mixes come in, which I can link that video as well because snack mixes help me so much to get a filling salty snack or a sweet snack. You can make it sweet and it really does help me when I feel like binging. So that's something that I do to help me. I also have a few videos about binge eating that I do to help, but specifically on my period, I kind of give myself some leniency and just let myself have some of the snacks because it makes me feel better and I know that I'm trying to just rest my body and there's not much that I can do, especially when I have cramps. I just kind of want to make it low key and just rest. And I think what's important is focusing on other things like drinking my water, getting enough sleep. I think having a little bit more of those when I'm a little bit down in the other areas really does help to balance it out and make me feel better overall so that it's not a huge deal if I did have some higher point snacks or something or I indulged a little bit. I focused on the other areas too that I could, even like making sure I still get vegetables in. Even if I binge and have like a big higher point snack, I make sure to make vegetables a focus that day and protein, and then I'm still fine. So getting back on track after having balance with it, those are usually the things I do during my period because I definitely struggle with cravings and wanting to binge. Okay, the next question is, have you ever considered doing women's roller derby? You seem like a good skater. I played years ago and it's great exercise. I honestly don't know much about roller derby, but I've had a lot of people suggest it to me. It's something I'd need to look into. I think it'd be fun, but I know nothing about it. I honestly don't know how to do it, but I do love skating, so maybe I'll look into it. The next question is, while in weight loss mode, did you ever get anxious when traveling without access to a kitchen for multiple days? I'm trying to enjoy my vacation, but I'm anxious about my choices for food, plus I packed way more snacks than needed. Definitely. Like before we went to New York, I was honestly really nervous about it because we weren't going to be eating our normal food and it wasn't going to be what I've been used to for even like a couple years now. Of course, we have balance and have things around here, but like you said, not having your kitchen, not having your staples, it really does kind of affect you and it becomes a little stressful. But for me personally, I just try to have a plan. I try to know, like you said, having snacks is huge. So having low point snack options that are high in protein, that are gonna be filling, that really helps. For me, my apple is so important to me. So even when we go on vacation, I try to make sure that there's a way I can get a Honeycrisp apple. In New York, we got them from like a gas station. When I was in Florida with Adam's parents, I had asked them, because they asked us what groceries we wanted. I said, can you please just grab some Honeycrisp apples? Because as long as I can just have that after dinner, like that's gonna make me feel better. So different things like that to kind of plan ahead, but also don't stress too much. Try to enjoy yourself, because the more you stress about it, the more damage you're gonna do to yourself. And it's just fine to enjoy yourself every once in a while in moderation, and then get back to it when you can. But find the little things that can kind of keep you on track and help out along the way. So it's all about having balance with that as well. Okay, the next question is, as a new beginner to strength training, what exercises do you recommend? Reps, sets, thank you. So for this one, I get questions about my strength training a lot, and I also have been getting questions about what I'm studying. So right now, I am currently in the process of taking the NASM course for personal fitness training. It's to be a certified personal trainer, and I'm also taking their nutrition certification course so that I will have that. And the reason that I'm taking these courses and further educating myself is so that I can give information when it comes to content, because I've become so passionate about strength training in the gym, but it is so important that people are doing the correct programs for themselves with reps and sets and form and everything, that I don't want to be giving any incorrect information. So I feel like educating myself with all of this and kind of learning more about it will help me to be able to make the content to help others. Even if it is like a gym guide about getting started, that's something down the line I would love to do, just to help others get started how I was able to. But at the moment, I usually just feel comfortable sharing my workouts on Instagram. I have a few posts where I just share different exercises that I like to do. I might do a video soon where I just go through my current workout routine, but again, that's not so much for beginners, I wouldn't say. So I'm hoping to finish up my course within the next couple months, and then I can give more information about reps, sets, all that type of stuff, because that is really kind of where I want to go with this. I really am passionate about weightlifting, and I think that I can help others, but I want to make sure that I educate myself first. So for the questions about what I'm studying, that is what I'm currently studying, and it's honestly been really interesting to me. It's been a lot of like going back to biology from high school, but it has been really interesting, and I'm excited to continue learning. The next question is it easy for you to afford the food you buy to stay on track? I find it difficult for me, but I do have 2 kids also. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. So I've talked about this a couple times, but in the past, before we started our weight loss journey, we were spending so much money on food. Like, we weren't careful about what we budgeted for groceries in general, but with takeout food and fast food and restaurants, we would spend so much money on that, and we just didn't care. So I've kind of been able to spend a little bit more when it comes to like snacks and stuff, because I know that I don't want to go back to that. I know that it's worth it to invest in my health, and certain things are worth spending a little bit more money on. We really don't go out and do much, so we don't spend a lot of money on like doing crazy things. Of course we do stuff and we do spend money on that, but like my food budget is probably a little bit higher just because I want to invest in my health and I really want to make it a priority. And so that really has become a top priority with what I spend my money on. Another thing too, I kind of look at it as a business expense when I'm buying different snacks for our snack reviews and stuff. So that's why I'm willing to buy more when it comes to like the more expensive snacks that we're trying out, because a lot of times people have questions about those, or they want to try them but they don't want to spend the money. So for me, those types of things that are more pricey are more of a business expense. But I think about it as I want to invest in my health. The food that I eat is the first priority for me. And so I don't buy the most expensive food. I still do try to be careful in the store. We buy a lot of generic brand and stuff like that, but it really does help to invest a little bit more in the food. So at times, yes, I would say our food budget is a little bit more than normal, but it's just because, but then again, it isn't even, because we don't go out to eat as much as we used to and go to restaurants and buy drinks and stuff. So that used to be so much more money, and it's gotten even more expensive. Of course, with groceries being more expensive, that hasn't been nice at all. That's really been hard too. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with budgeting for groceries. Okay, the next question is, I heard you say cookie room before. Do you decorate cookies? Also, did you stall during your weight loss? If so, what did you do to start losing again? So the first question, yes, I have a cookie room downstairs. It's actually what our master bedroom was supposed to be, but we wanted our bedroom to be the upstairs room. So I turned that one into my cookie room because it connects right to my kitchen, and it's just a whole separate room. Like, you can close the door to it. So it is perfect. And it has become a place where I have my 2 huge baking racks. I've got a wall of cookie cutter bins. I've got all of my stuff in there. So that's my cookie room where I do all of the cookie stuff. And yes, I have a full-time cookie business that I run out of my home. I do cookies, cakes, cake pops, Rice Krispies, pretzels, but mostly decorated sugar cookies. And that's like my favorite thing to do. So like I kind of mentioned, I'm gonna kind of go more towards just doing cookies, but yes, that is what I do. And the cookies I do are custom sugar cookies. So they're decorated with royal icing, and I can leave my website in the description, but it's just Nikki's Creative Confections. And then the second part of the question is, did I stall during weight loss? And there were a few times where I did, like looking back to my weigh-ins, I did have like a bunch of weeks in a row where it was just like 0.2, 0.2, and then 0, 0, 0. I had a few weeks of that in the peak of my like weight loss, but once I hit 180 the first time, I pretty much stalled at that weight and stayed there until I've gradually gained about 10 pounds since then in muscle, but that has been over 2 years since then. So once I did stop losing though the first time, I really didn't start again. I hit that plateau, and then that's when I started focusing more on weight training. And so my weight has pretty much stayed there since. That's when I stopped focusing so much on my weight and started focusing more on pictures and strength and stuff. So yes, I have had a few times where I've had like some stalls for a few weeks, or like a gain and then 0, 0, 0 for a couple weeks. But the biggest plateau that I hit, I pretty much stayed there, and I've been there since, but I've also gone up a little bit with muscle gain. Okay, the next question is, I remember you saying that for the first 3 months you focused on doing the WW food plan. Do you feel like you wouldn't have continued to lose weight, maintain without adding exercise? Like doing the Weight Watchers lifestyle with food choices only. I'm on day 70 and have lost about a pound a week. I can't exercise right now, but I hope I'll keep losing weight without it. So personally, yes, I do think that I would have continued to lose weight. If anything, when I started to work out was when my weight started to stall a little bit more. And I think I started eating a little bit more when I was working out to kind of make up for that. So that could have been part of it. But I also then started to gain muscle. I think if I would have just stuck with it and focused on my food choices, I would have continued to lose the other 40 pounds that I did lose. And honestly, I think it would have been about the same time frame. So I really don't think it's that important. I think exercise is very important for your health, and it's important to incorporate it. But again, if you're not able to at the moment, of course, you can still follow Weight Watchers, and I think you'll have success. Without including exercise, I think that it just helps to strengthen your body more. And I think if anything, it might cause more of a weight gain at that time. I hear a lot of other people who start exercising and then their loss isn't the same. So I think what you're doing is awesome. I think just stay consistent with it. 1 pound a week is perfect. And I just think that it is whatever works best for you. But I think that if I didn't incorporate exercise, I would have still continued to lose, definitely, because I was still making the right food choices, and your diet is so much more important when it comes to weight loss than the exercise you're getting. I'm learning more and more that that really is such a small amount of calories that you burn throughout the day compared to everything else. So nutrition is really the most important. So definitely. Okay, the next question is, did you ever try keto or low carb? If so, what is your take on these? So me personally, no, I have never tried keto or low carb. I don't think I would have any success with that, honestly, because especially with how active I am, I'm learning that carbs are a main source of fueling your body, and it really is important to have carbs. And so I don't think that for me personally, keto would have ever worked or been sustainable, because I enjoy carbs. I love pasta, bread, all the carbs, but also I am active and need the carbs to fuel my body for exercise. I know it works for some people and you have to just do what's best for you, but for me personally, I don't think that keto would have ever really worked out. The next question is, do you use a personal trainer or do you create your own workout routines? I do not use a personal trainer. I actually just create my own routines that I do. I did use a gym guide for the first month at the gym, and after that I was pretty comfortable to just start doing my own thing. I played college volleyball, and through that I learned some about weightlifting, and so I was able to apply that again. Even though it had been years and years since I'd done it, I was able to kind of refresh myself and know a little bit that I had learned from the past. So a lot of it came from that, but also a lot was just educating myself, watching videos online, reading online about it, and that's how I've learned since. So now I'm going through my personal training certification, and I'll learn even more through that. I have not had a personal trainer, and I've pretty much just done what I want to do when I go to the gym, and that's just what's worked best for me. The next question is, do any of the grocery stores you do reviews for pay you guys? They should. I wish they did. I really wish they did, but no, they do not. I just love the different grocery stores that we shop at. I really do enjoy Meijer and Woodman's. I like Aldi, Trader Joe's, of course, and then usually we'll go to Walmart as well. But I really do like having so many options by us too, because I also have Mariano's, Fresh Time, Fresh Market, Target. I have so many other options around me, and I'm really grateful for that with where we live. But yeah, no, they do not pay us. I really wish they did pay us. I need to get more on some of those sponsorships because I don't know what I'm doing with that. The next question is, do you still make goal boards, charts? Any upcoming projects on the horizon? What would you like to do if you weren't making content and cookies? Any new partnerships? Okay, these are some good questions. So yes, I still make my vision board every year. I've got it hanging right over there. I still look at it every single day. I don't do the charts as much, but usually when I have a slower month, like not like this month has been crazy. But when I have a slower month and I want to focus on my goals a little bit more and just kind of make it more of like a me month, focusing on me, those are the times I'll do the charts if I feel like I'm not getting enough sleep, water, those types of things. That's when I bring those up again and start to make them a focus. Any upcoming projects? I am studying right now. I would consider that a big project because it's taking up most of my time. I also am trying to get more videos with new recipes out because I want to start up cookbook number 2. I have a huge list of recipes that I want to do for it, and I'm getting really, really excited. It's just getting one thing done before the next. Okay, then the next one is, what would I do if I weren't making content and cookies? So honestly, if I wasn't doing cookies, I think I would just want to do content full time because I love it so much. I have so much fun with YouTube, and it's been something I've wanted to do since I was just starting out middle school and high school when YouTube was first around and makeup tutorials were my favorite thing. I loved YouTube, and so being able to make content on here, this is definitely my favorite platform to use. I do like Instagram because I can connect with others a little bit easier, but I just love YouTube. So I think I would continue with this. I would even want to do cookie content with YouTube if I could. I just haven't had the time for it. But if I wasn't doing either of those things, that is hard. I don't even know. I have always wanted to be a chef. I've always said I want to be a chef, but I know it's extremely stressful. At this point, I don't know if that's something I would still want to do. If anything, I would want to be someone's personal chef. I think that that would be something more down the line of what I enjoy doing, or having a catering company. I love catering and doing parties and events and stuff. I just never actually do them. It's just, I love actually making like appetizers and catering and that type of stuff. So I would say something still involving food, but I think that's where I would go. The next question is, I struggle with late night eating. Any suggestions for fighting that? So I do as well, and I really like to snack after dinner. Like, I just go in the kitchen, and if I don't have control, I can just have a little bit of everything. And so that's why I've mentioned snack mixes before. Those really help me to stay on track. I use Air Pop popcorn, which is 0 points, as the base, and then just a few other snacks. And I keep it low point, but it's very satisfying. But I allow myself to have some different snacks after dinner. Also, just having low point options in general. So if I have Oreos at home and different high point things, I'm going to be so tempted to eat them. And sometimes it gets hard with the cookie business because I'll have to buy a pack of Oreos or something for chocolate covered Oreos. And when that's the case, like, I just struggle with it being in front of me. But when I have lower point options, then it's not as big of a deal if I want to snack at night. And that's usually what I do. I'll find some low point options. Maybe I'll have a 0 point food first and then I'll have the snacks. So I'm a little bit more full at that point, but that's how I handle late night cravings. Also, sometimes I just get away from the kitchen because I realize I'm not even hungry and I just want to go in there and eat because I'm like, oh, I haven't had a snack tonight. I need to go do that. I don't actually need it. I'm not actually hungry. So I go upstairs, I brush my teeth, I get in bed or something, or I cuddle the dogs and I get my mind off of it so that I'm not just pointlessly snacking. The next question is, your cookies are adorable. How did you learn how to make them? So thank you, I appreciate it. Everything I've done with cookies has been self-taught. I originally started by seeing a picture on Pinterest and I just kind of wanted to copy it. So I found a picture on Pinterest, or I had seen royal icing decorated cookies on Pinterest. That's when Pinterest was a thing and I was just trying out everything. I had a period of time where I loved doing my nails and I would do different like stamps on them and stuff like that. And just so many different crafts and stuff I'd find on Pinterest. So it just happened to be one of those things where I found royal icing cookies, I made Cubs cookies, and then I posted them and people started asking for them. And from there, it just became a fun hobby. and then I quickly actually started selling them. So that happened in 2016 when I had just graduated college and I was just kind of looking for something to do. I originally had a plan to go to culinary school, and it was just like the in-between period of graduating and waiting to start culinary school. And then I started cookies and that completely took over and I never ended up going to culinary school. So everything's been self-taught though. It is so much trial and error with cookies, and honestly, the biggest thing is learning icing consistency. It is so hard to get the consistency perfect and down, and it has taken me years to get to the point where I'm at to be able to decorate cookies the way that I can, just because I have such a system down and I've gotten so used to it. But it really is a lot of trial and error learning, and then just finding ideas online, watching tutorials online, and that's pretty much how I've learned to do it. Okay, the next question is, would you ever do a fitness competition? Also, do you use self-tanner? So first one, a fitness competition, I don't know, because I have heard a lot of people that do them and kind of develop unhealthy habits because of it, because they're on such a strict maybe diet or whatever they're trying to do, their plan that they're trying to do. So I don't know about so much like a body type fitness competition, but I would definitely want to do like a half marathon inline skating or something. So when it comes to competition, maybe something more like that. But I don't know so much about like a body type competition, just because I don't know if I would do well with that. I feel like I'd get really restrictive and be too hard on myself. So I don't know. But do I use self-tanner? I do not. And I am so pale in the winter, but when the summer comes, I tan so easily. So when I'm out skating or just outside, I tan very quickly, and my skin tone changes a lot. So I don't use self-tanner, that's just my natural tan, but in the winter, I am so pale, so I should probably find a self-tanner for the winter. Okay, the next question is, I've lost 100 pounds on Weight Watchers since 2020. Congrats, that is amazing. But for the last year, I haven't really lost anything despite still being on Weight Watchers and following the plan. I still want to lose another 30 to 40 pounds. Any tips on breaking a long plateau? So I think it just depends kind of on how you're doing the program now. So if you're currently eating all your weeklies, or I guess it just depends on what you're doing with Weight Watchers. Because for me personally, when I would hit a plateau, some of the things I would change, I would first of all make sure I'm eating my weeklies, because I find that when I eat those, I have more success. I'm able to eat more food and still lose weight. But I like to use my weeklies for things like protein bars, nuts, or just like higher point foods like avocado. The type of stuff that's still really nutritious and good for me, but it's higher point, so sometimes I avoid it because of Weight Watchers. Focusing on getting some of those whole foods and using your weeklies for that, I think that can really help. I think focusing on every other area, so making sure you're getting enough sleep, that really does make a huge difference with weight loss, drinking enough water, and then maybe evaluating if you're eating enough. Like, do you think that you're eating too much or not enough on Weight Watchers? If you feel like it's not enough, maybe incorporating more 0-point foods so you feel more full, or even focusing more on your protein intake so you're more full. It just kind of depends on what you're dealing with your current situation and what things you want to change. Okay, the next question is, what's your all-time favorite Christmas movie, and have you ever tried a spin class? Okay, my all-time favorite Christmas movie, I think I would say The Grinch, just because that's what I watched the most growing up as a kid, or the Mickey Mouse Once Upon a Christmas. That used to be my favorite, but I really like The Grinch, and I don't know. I like a lot of Christmas movies. Otherwise, I would say Gremlins, which I don't know if that counts as a Christmas movie. But have you ever tried a spin class? No, that's something I would want to do. I actually think I used to do them when I was like in high school and we had Lifetime. had done like a couple of them, but it's not something I've done since, and I think it looks like a lot of fun. I just don't know if it's something I would enjoy doing consistently, but it's something I would try. I think it would be fun. Okay, the next question is, how many tattoos do you have? Are you planning more? I had to just count, and I feel like I got everything, but I have 10. My favorite one is definitely my SpongeBob pineapple, I would say. But then I also really like my robot on my ankle, and I like my ghost and my roller skate. I love them all. So anyway, I have a lot of them, and I have some ideas for the next ones I want to get. I honestly just don't know where in my body I want to get them, because I really like the placement of my tattoos now, and I like how they look. So I have ideas of what I want. I just need to figure out where I want to put them. Okay, the next question is, how do you track pre-made or frozen foods that you know should be 0 points or close to it? For example, I had a shrimp kit that should have been 0 points, but it scanned as 6, but the ingredients were shrimp and veggies. I tracked it as 0. What would you do? So in this situation, a lot of times what I do is I look at the ingredients, and if I see oil, then I'll add a couple points for oil. But yes, usually I'll do like 0 points. If it is solely just vegetables in the bag and you scan it and it shows up as points, it's not taking into consideration that it's vegetables, and I would just track it as 0. But if you look at the label and there's any added sugar, there's any added sauce, oil, anything like that, then I kind of take that into consideration, and usually I'll just track a lower point amount than what it scans as. So say you scanned it and it said 6 points, I would probably just scan it and track it as 2 points for the bag, because most of it is 0, but then adding in the oil, I just want to count for that if it adds that much. If it's like low on the ingredient list or it's not much added sugar or something, then I don't focus on it too much, because there are some times where it does scan 0 point foods and say that they have a point value. I scanned cherries the other day and they came up as points, but those are supposed to be 0. So it's just stuff like that. I kind of am lenient with it, and I just try to do my best to guess. Next question is, do you think you could have been successful on your journey if Adam wasn't doing it too? I see a lot of people fail because the other household members keep overeating around them. Personally, yes, I think I would have been able to. I think it really helped that we were on the same page, but I think I was to the point where I was going to do anything to make a change because I was so scared for my health. I just did not want to go down the path that I was going. I didn't want to get stuck going to the doctors all the time. I didn't want to have to get any types of surgery. And it's so funny because I get comments on my transformation pictures all the time asking if I've gotten all these different surgeries. And the reason that I started losing weight was because of my fear of surgery and my fear of getting any work done or anything done to myself or having to go to the doctors or hospital or anything like that. That is why. So it's kind of funny when I get those comments because there is no way I would have gotten a surgery. I won't go near it unless it is like the last thing I'm going to need to do. So when it came down to it and I started my weight loss journey, I was going to do anything to make a change. I think maybe it would have been a slower change and it would have been like smaller differences I would have made because we still eat the same dinners and stuff. So if that would have changed and he wasn't willing to do it, I think that would have held me back a little. But I do think that I was so set to make a change that I wasn't going to let anything stop me because I was so tired of being where I was at. The next question is, have you been approached by national brands for a sponsorship collab? So I get emails pretty much every day from different brands. It's just a matter of picking the brands I want to work with and honestly having the time to work with them. With everything that I'm doing, sometimes that's like my last priority. Of course, it's nice to make some extra money off of a video or something, but it is a lot of work that goes into working with a brand and figuring everything out and planning out the content and stuff. And a lot of times I just prefer to just do my videos the way I do. So it is something down the line that I really want to incorporate more just to be able to do more and to take this on even more full time. If I could have a little more funding with it, I think that that would help, but not recently anything crazy that I've wanted to do. I've really only done work with a few brands, and that's been like Clio and Like Air, Weight Watchers, Real Good Foods, but yeah, it's been pretty limited. It's something that I want to expand and do more on my channel with, but it's just not my like top priority right now. So yeah. The next question is your top 5 favorite recipes from your cookbook. This is a good one. So if you guys don't know, I have a cookbook. This is my recipes that I've eaten throughout my weight loss journey that have really helped me to stay on track. They're super filling and really I love all of them. I think my favorite definitely would be in the bowls category because I just love all of the bowls so much. I think a Reuben bowl, a club salad bowl, and a crab rangoon bowl are my 3 favorite out of those. But then I also really like the tuna noodles. That's just like a classic recipe I make all the time. Taco pasta, crab pasta, going over to the air fryer, the crab rangoons, and then in the copycat takeout, the Southwest egg rolls. There are just so many good things that I really enjoy from here. I also like all the wraps. So that's a really hard question. I'd say I make the veggie rice and the Spanish rice a lot. Like those are some of the things I make the most, but I pretty much make all of this and now I'm getting hungry just looking through it. So those are like my top, I don't even know, I probably said like 10. The next question is, I'm struggling with eating the same thing over and over. So this is where this comes into play, specifically the ingredient prep section. So I talk about this all the time, but I prep ingredients ahead of time to be able to make different meals. So because I make like veggie mix and 2 ingredient dough and just different veggie mixes like this, I'm able to create a bunch of different meals from it. Also like turkey burgers. I put turkey burgers in so many different meals that you might not think of to put a turkey burger in, but it actually works. It's just a protein and a meat to add in. And that way I can have so much variety. So I buy different sauces, different salsas and salads, stuff like that to mix with them. But that way I can have so much variety with just using the same basic ingredients all the time. I always use jasmine rice. I always use veggie mix. I always use turkey burgers or grilled chicken. But you can change up the other ingredients that you're mixing in with these meals. I definitely recommend my cookbook, of course. If you guys don't have it, it's available on Amazon. That is how I really stay on track with having some variety. But I think just finding some staple foods you like and then finding ways to kind of twist them around and do some variety with them really does help. Someone said, just started watching your channel. I see sometimes another male other than your husband, just wondering who he is. So Adam, you guys know, is my husband. Trevor, a lot of you guys know, he lives with us. He is someone that we met working at Potbelly. So actually Adam started working there first. Potbelly Sandwiches is a sandwich shop by us. He got the job there first, worked there a couple years, then I had gotten a job there, and actually Trevor was hired the same week that I was. So we didn't know each other then, but that's how we met, and then all of us ended up working with each other there for a while. Then while I was at Potbelly was when I also had started up my cookie business, and so Trevor started helping me with that. We both wanted to get out of Potbelly and stop working there. Adam had stopped working there at that point as well, so we all stopped. And then my cookie business took over full time. So then that's when Trevor started helping me with that. He ended up moving in because that's when we had just purchased our house. And from there, he's just helped me with my business. He's also started up his own clothing business. I've taken it a little bit easier on cookies than I was doing before, so I don't need as much help as I did. So he can focus on that more. I can focus on my cookies and YouTube and stuff, and that's how it works out. So that's who Trevor is though. And you'll see him pop up in some videos. A lot of times I'm wearing different clothing that he's made, so I'll mention that. But yeah, we like to go thrifting a lot together. We like to go hiking, and we just have a lot of the same interests. And so that's why we are friends. The next question is, do you fit alcohol in this lifestyle? So yes, I do. I definitely drink way less than I did when I was at my heaviest and just not in the best shape and taking care of myself. I did not pay attention to my alcohol consumption, and I did kind of struggle with it. There were times where I would just kind of binge drink and then fall asleep on the couch because I was just so stressed out. And so now I'm definitely more careful with my alcohol intake. I definitely have lower point options. If anything, I just prefer to have maybe just like some straight tequila with even like skinny syrup sometimes I use, but a lot of times I'll just do like a water and a Mio as a chaser or a mixed drink with it. I also just like to have seltzers. I find that those are a good low point option that still give me a good buzz. And so that's what I do. But I also really like Blue Moon, so I'll have that every once in a while. I don't really limit anything, but I'm definitely more careful, especially with like sugary drinks. Honestly, just because they don't make me feel good at all. Like I used to love 1800 margaritas, and now when I have them, they give me such bad heartburn and acid reflux that it's just not really even worth it. So some of the reason I've changed my alcohol habits has been because of like the sugar intake and that type of stuff. But I do still incorporate it. I'd say I drink like 1 to 3 times a month, if that. I really don't drink as much, but that's more so because I feel how much it affects my workout the next day, and it just makes me feel bad for the next few days that it just isn't always worth it. But I do still incorporate it. It's not something I've cut out completely. I'm just a little bit more mindful of it. Okay, that is the last question I'm gonna be answering. Thank you guys so much for submitting them. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.